the NFL playoffs, 4 games, some weather concerns, some people really, really weather concerned about the weather concerns. I'm Chris Spags, joined my good pal, the Chubster, Josh Engelman. How you doing, Josh?
I'm good. Is this our last one on our production meeting quickly?
I don't know. I mean, I could do it. I know we're doing On the Contrary next week. I don't know. I feel like let's see what the views are. If the views are like 500-ish, then maybe not. But
Yeah. As long as we have one show next week. I don't think we need to do 2 hours worth of 2 games. We'll talk about that later.
It's conference championships. The energy's high. I'm sure people will be playing showdowns for them too. I don't know. Maybe I'll break out another showdown video and just do that.
There you go. That's probably better.
Ugh, whatever. Well, anyway, we got 4 games. This is people are calling this the best NFL playoff fantasy slate in the history of NFL playoff fantasy slate. So a long and storied, several decade long history. Yeah. I'm sure that goes back to. What are you getting the most of on your crunches so far, Josh? Actually, let's talk about the weather up front, because there are some people, as I mentioned, very deeply concerned about the weather in the Colts-Kansas City game. I think you're a little bit less concerned. Why?
Yeah, I have more Chiefs than I have anything else. Mahomes is my highest exposed quarterback. I have more Kelsey than anything else. Damian Williams is my highest exposed running back. Not super worried about it.
So I'm a little more worried about it than you are. I think it's totally fair to play it straight. I'm not crazy about Hilton in the matchup anyway, and I think if he's going to be the highest owned guy, as we're currently projecting on the site, I'm okay getting a little away from that. I'm a big believer in Marlon Mack here. I'd rather take that chalk personally. And I think Ebron is a little bit under-owned here, even though he's still obviously pretty chalky, because what else are you going to do? I think there are ways to get away from Hilton, but are you stacking him with Luck?
Hilton?
Yeah.
When I have him, yeah. Not always. He's like the only piece of the Colts that I'm really confident in. I mean, to me, like, with the amount of Kansas City that I'm playing, there aren't. I guess I shouldn't say there isn't anyone else, because it could be Ebron. But on Yahoo in particular, I think that Ebron is a little overpriced, so I'm having trouble getting to him. So Hilton is sort of like the only piece of the Colts that I can get to, because it's not like I'm bringing back a Chief stack with Marlon Mack.
Okay, that's fair. I think when it was sort of people jumping in the chat yesterday talking about when we were doing On the Contrary, talking about like schools are being closed, snows, whatever. I was thinking definitely would be more of a running back tight end game, because you're going to want those low risk passes. You're going to want kind of to slam the ball inside and not risk turnovers. But now that it's looking like apparently like a slightly wet field that might have a slight chill to it, like it's like a cold shower, that the water wasn't working correctly, the water pump broke. I don't know. I guess it's not as appealing then to load up on Ebron and Mack and Williams and Kelsey.
Yeah, I just look at it like this. I don't get the sense that Mahomes is going to be like, I'm going to be cautious today.
Did you see that one interview he did? I think on ESPN, where he did the behind
no-look
throw. Pass. Yeah, not behind the back. If he did a behind the back pass, that might be a little too much.
Yeah,
but yeah, the no-look throw, he hit it on the spot in one take.
And then there was an Instagram. Well, there was some sort of like clip video of a bunch of quarterbacks doing really weird shit, like Brady hitting someone on a golf cart, Aaron Rodgers throwing like a 30-yard fade route into a very small bucket. Somebody else had one that was pretty cool. Drew Brees hitting like a really tiny ass target on something going by. I was just like, how do these guys do this shit? I miss the old NFL quarterback club stuff.
Well, it's like the Dude Perfect guys, though. I feel like it kind of ruined that for me. Like, I don't know if they actually do those things, or if there's some CGI component. I feel like sometimes there might be, but like when you see just like random like Chad Thad assholes doing it, kind of ruins it when Mahomes just does it on a field. But that's me. That's me and watching YouTube videos, I guess. Yeah, let's see. We're going through the chat now. By the way, if you are not a member of Osmo.com, you can do it now. We have some brand spanking new, hot off the presses NFL projections to use for your optimizer of choice, preferably Fantasy Cruncher. And we also have the ownership rankings, which have just been updated. Ownership and rankings, which have just been updated. So go check it out now. Get 50% off your first month with promo code Live Before Lock on Osmo.com. What else? What other quarterbacks are coming up the most for you here? I'm assuming you have a good chunk of Mahomes.
I do. 40% Mahomes, 30% Goff. That's the big differentiating factor for me. Those are the two. I have one lineup of Rivers, one of Brady, one of Luck. But
so no Nick Foles.
No, I don't need Nick Foles.
Okay, I have a lot of Nick Foles.
Good luck.
So the line's getting worse for the Eagles, but it's a high total. Um, I thought this matchup looked really good when Carson Wentz kind of went to shit in it a couple weeks ago, or whatever it was, a month ago now. I think Foles is going to throw enough. He's throwing 40 times a game. I think he's got a pretty decent shot to get going here. I think there's enough ways where you can dink and dunk Sproles. He can kind of get. I think Aguilar is going to have a nice day. I think Jeffrey may be able to have a good day here. I think Tate out of the slot is a little bit intriguing. I'm not playing as much of him. But overall, and your boy Ertz, I mean, he's not in my stacks, which I guess might be a little bit stupid if I'm going to go with some Foles. But I think it's a good matchup. I think they're going to have to put up points, and I think they can. This is not the Bears' defense.
No Ertz, but lots of Foles, huh?
Well, I think that's where I'm extra differentiating because, like, otherwise I'm going very chalky. I think like Zeke and Gurley have good days going back and forth, and Kelsey obviously, like, so that's my differentiation point.
You don't think you're going extra different by playing Nick Foles?
Yeah, no. I mean, the stack I think in general would be, but I don't know. I also just don't believe in Ertz, and I think Kelsey and Ebron are higher ceiling plays in these particular matchups that they have.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I don't love the New Orleans DVOA numbers on tight ends. I don't know. I don't love what I've seen so far where teams are really selling out to stop Ertz, and it seems like it kind of impedes the offense. Like, I think I'd rather, well, no, I did it last week. Like, I played Goddard over Ertz, and that ended up being okay.
Riddle me this one. Why Foles over Goff?
So I think the Cowboys defense is better than the Saints defense overall.
Okay. I'm just I pulled up ownership because I had no idea what any of their prices were. So I saw that they were separated by one. So that would be that's what gives me pause. The fact that I just greatly prefer Jared Goff's scenario over Nick Foles' scenario.
Yeah, I mean, I have some Goff too. I think I just like relative to the field, I think I'm at probably 30% Foles. So that's like, like 3 times what the field is right now. For Goff, I think I'm probably maybe a little bit above it. I don't have the exact number, but I would guess between 10 and 20.
So are you under on Mahomes or Luck?
I am under on Luck. I have a lot of Mahomes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Luck, the wind concerns. I mean, it's not a terribly windy day, but it's windy enough. Plus the cold. It seems like not a great recipe for a guy who's had shoulder problems.
Yeah, I feel like I bet he probably is like really creaky in the morning in the cold day, but I don't know. Then again, he wakes up every day in Indianapolis, so probably just creaky in general.
Yeah, I think when you're playing in the dome too, I mean, there is sort of, I think there's a comfort level, which is not going to be there today in a million different ways. Yeah. I still think they have a nice day. I'm comfortable going somewhere else and trying to get cheaper because I don't think he has a ceiling. He's only had one day coming close to 40 fantasy points, whereas like Mahomes has done that a bunch of times. So I'd rather just go cheaper and hope that Foles can have a 30-point day, and then maybe Luck has a 30-point day as well.
What are you doing with your boy Zeke?
Playing a lot of them. It's the best matchup on paper for run. The Rams give up 5.1 yards per rush. I don't see any reason why they're going to stiffen up now. They've also been bad in the red zone, which is kind of for me an indicator that the run defense can get better. And I don't see it here. He's going to get a ton of touches. He got 26 carries last week, I think 27. I just don't see how he doesn't get enough touches to be useful.
Yeah, I'm really nervous about him. He's the only guy that I like manually brought down in exposure on purpose. And it's mostly just because I see a line of, Rams by a touchdown. I see a total that's, basically the lowest. They're tied with New England and the Chargers. Difference by a point. No huge difference for me. So I'm just like, okay, like what if this just does go well for the Rams? I know that Zeke will be involved, but he's going to need that ceiling game to keep that close. So I'm basically just avoiding most of Dallas across the board. So that's what's scaring me a little bit. I have almost no Dallas outside of a little bit of Zeke.
So I don't have a ton of the pass game. What Evan Silva kind of spooked me with some of the talk about how Aaron Donald's going to create a lot of havoc for Dak in a way which Dak is not inclined to handle well. So that kind of spooked me off a little bit of a kind of under-owned Dak Cooper stack, which I thought was interesting. But I think the thing to me, which I've seen, and obviously the Cowboys are the team that I root for, so I'm probably watching them a little more closely. But I also played a lot of Rams this year. The Rams total seems like a little lower than what they usually get, whereas the Dallas one, like the Rams have been higher rather by Vegas all year than it seems like they should be. And I think there are some numbers to cover that about how they haven't hit their team totals as much as they seem like they have. And Dallas has been a little bit underrepresented by Vegas this year. So I think if they meet in the middle and Dallas's D looks as good as it did last week, I don't know. Like I think Dallas still will probably lose, but I think Zeke has a decent day. I think Gurley has a decent day, and Cooks would be the pass catcher on the Rams I like the most.
Yeah. It's the only piece that has me nervous. But I just look at it. I see Melvin Gordon. I see Todd Gurley. I see Alvin Kamara. And then I just have a ton of Damian Williams just because of his price. And I think, like, okay, I think Dallas is in the worst spot from like an entire team perspective. I just really like the Rams, I guess, as a team in general. I was like, okay, I think that I'd rather just not have as much Zeke and hope that I catch one of Gordon, Gurley, or Kamara being big. Terrifies me, man, because he's fucking so good.
He is, and he gets more opportunity, I think, than anybody. I don't know. Yeah. Like Gurley being now projected to be higher owned than Zeke. Like Zeke was the one who we had projected to be higher owned up until the most recent update today. I felt okay with being on the higher owned side with Zeke. Now I'm very happy to get him at less ownership than Gurley. Like I think Gurley can have a nice day, but I'm trying to play both of them if I can.
I get it. Like I don't have any legitimate reasoning to be off of Zeke other than taking a particular stand in my lineup builds. He's clearly fantastic.
Yeah. The total is low. I mean, it is the lowest total on the slate, so I get why. If you're going to go and make a stand, going against and making a stand on the team with the lowest total on the slate, even though it is by just like a decimal, still enough to. It's like there's a good logic to it.
Yeah, it scares the shit out of me.
I think that game. I feel like that one, and it's also the Vegas total's been coming down a little. I think that one could end up being a little more run heavy than people think. And that's also kind of spooks me off a little bit.
I have so much of those stupid fucking Rams receivers.
I'm definitely under the field, at least on Woods, probably with the field on Cooks and a little bit over the field on Reynolds.
I have a lot of all three of those boners.
Cooks, I think, is the dude. Why are they boners?
I don't know.
They didn't deserve that.
They probably don't.
They're good boys. So like what we saw last week with Dallas is they don't have the speed to keep up with like a kind of an elite athletic receiver, and I think that's why Cooks is the better matchup to me. We saw like Tyler Lockett really had their number, whereas Doug Baldwin couldn't get separation at all. And I like Woods. I think he's sort of better with his body positioning than Doug Baldwin is. But I think overall, like the athleticism thing with Cooks, I think he can beat the Cowboys deep, whereas I don't think Woods is going to get a ton of targets and be able to dig and dunk.
Reynolds intriguing. I hope they all do it. They are three. They're my three of oh god, I can't even talk right now. 3 of my 4 highest like value wide receivers today, like relative to their salary. It's Hilton, which makes me want to throw up, and then Reynolds, Woods, and Cooks, all just smushed together. So it was just like, okay, I'm just playing all of the Rams.
That's a fair take. It's, it is a little brisk here in LA. I will say that. And I'm not that far from the stadium. I'm downtown by Staples, but it's like a 15-minute drive to where the Coliseum is. And a little chilly. Jared Goff doesn't like a chilly weather day.
I think we'll be okay.
It's like 50 degrees here, which is
god damn. It's cold.
Put on your parka.
It's cold here today, man. I'm not enjoying it.
You got like beach town areas. So you got that cold breeze coming in.
It's real dry right now too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's like one of those where like the sky opens up and makes it cold. It feels like 40 right now, and it's just been like that since fucking who knows, like two days. I don't like it. Eating a lot of soup.
That's good. Soup is good for like getting a little that love handle fat off.
Yeah, soup just drink liquid. I mean, granted, I had some clam chowder, so it was
a lot of potatoes. When you dump cream in there.
Yeah, creamed potatoes with clams in it.
Badger and Bournemouth fan, Dallas D is pretty good. Yes, Dallas D is pretty good. People do sleep on them. And I think they're a very well-run defense who I've been impressed by and like surprisingly impressed by. Like I'm a New Yorker and a Cowboys fan, so I have a bit of the New Yorker neuroses about teams and never believe in them fully. But they have won me over a lot. They could still lose today, obviously, but I could see that game going under, I would say, pretty easily.
I hope it doesn't. Well, I don't care if it does. If the Rams want to go ahead and score 48 points, I don't mind if it goes under.
I think the Rams can get 1 touchdown to all of your boys, and then that's it.
That's fine.
No more.
That's fine.
Okay.
I can handle that.
And then Zeke gets 4.
That one won't help me. Oh, you don't have to give me one for all of them and then have Zeke blow up. That's not super helpful. I mean, I'm not saying that I have 0 Zeke. I have 3 lineups with him, but I assume that he's going to be more owned than that.
Fair enough. LA Chargers at New England. Let's talk about that one a little. I don't have a lot of this game. You mentioned Melvin Gordon, and I wanted to like more Gordon. The knee stuff worries me. The matchup, I think, looks okay. So I do have a little bit of him, but I am not matching the field on him. And he seems like the pivot to the Gurley and Zeke kind of tier guys, and maybe even to Damian Williams. But I find it hard to get there.
I have 30% Gordon, so the same as Zeke. I have quite a bit of Julian Edelman, a little bit of Sony Michel, a little bit of Gronk. But I am lighter on that game than anywhere else.
Yeah, I think that could be some value in going contrarian and loading up there. Maybe not loading up there, but getting some of the pieces. Like I have a couple lineups with Allen and Edelman going back and forth because I think that would be the way I could see the game breaking down. I have a little bit of Mike Williams in spots too. I think he's an interesting play. Besides that, I said no Gronk up top. I have a little bit of James White, but I'm not a buyer on the Sony Michel thing either. Where people think he might just run the ball 25 times and that's how they do it. I don't know that I see the game going that way either.
I have some Sony. He's in 3 of the lineups. I'm not keen on it, but I just don't. There's just this crop of running backs where I'm not really confident of what to do. So I'm just trying to basically randomize them as much as I can across 10 lineups. Yahoo's a motherfucker, man.
Ariana Fritas asking in the chat, cheap wide receiver choice, Ted Ginn, Sammy Watkins, or Josh Reynolds. Which of those 3 would be yours?
Reynolds.
On DK, they're all very close pricely.
Reynolds, and it's not close.
So it's Ginn for me.
I'm okay. I'm okay with Ginn. Watkins you can remove from that question.
Watkins intrigues me a little bit because I don't think it's a spot for him. And I think the weather being a little janky is not good for a guy coming off of a leg injury. But he fits what the Colts will give up pretty well. Yeah, so I think that's the one thing where I have a little bit of him just because maybe it goes his way.
Yeah, you can talk me into Ginn for sure. I just prefer the Rams for this, so that's why I get to Reynolds easily. But Watkins wouldn't. The gap between Reynolds and Ginn to Watkins is massive for me.
I like Reynolds too. I definitely have more Ginn because I think him playing in the Superdome or whatever it is, Mercedes-Benz, blah blah blah. I think it's a kind of a perfect spot for him, and with how the Eagles have been beaten deep. And I do think they're going to have to dedicate some attention to Michael Thomas. I think it could be he could be the Kiki QT of the week. I think more than any of these other guys.
Well, he scores a fake touchdown and fucks me. Can't wait.
I mean, Kiki would have had a big day even if he didn't get that touchdown.
I mean, I don't care about his day at all if he doesn't score that touchdown.
He would have had 23 points still or whatever, 20 points.
Yeah, he would have had 15 on Yahoo or FanDuel because it's a half-point PPR.
Fine. All right, fair enough. Well,
that touchdown hurt, man. I felt it right in my nads.
I told you, look, I had 50% Kiki, and you laughed at you scoffed. You scoffed.
Right. And he scored a touchdown that wasn't even really a touchdown.
I think he was getting targeted a ton. I just knew that was
a lot of work. He got a lot of work. He got way more work than I expected him to get. That much I can tell you.
Hopkins was much less of a factor than I thought he would be too. I was surprised by that outcome. That was not the best.
I'm anxious to see how Golden Tate fucks me again this week.
I think it's an Aguilar week. That's what I'm hoping.
I just hope it's none of them, but I needed Jeffrey or Ertz on that final touchdown. And it would have been really interesting for me. And then they were like, touchdown, Golden Tate. I was like, cool, not jumping with that one. No one's jumping me because no one really has Golden Tate, but there wasn't a lot of Jeffrey and Ertz in front of me for that one.
Oh, here's an interesting point in the chat. Eddie Del Toro, Rams couldn't even do shit against the Vikings. That's obviously not the same thing, and it's not, every matchup is different. But I think Dallas is an impressive defense. I will say that, and I think they can do some things. So Gurley, apparently, according to reports, is looking like a monster in practice. So I don't know what that means, but I don't want to lose to a monster.
So I think that the Rams' offense is fantastic. Just the ability to have so many different weapons. I don't disagree that Dallas's defense is fantastic, but I'm going to bet on coaching, and I would just greatly prefer McVay to the Clapper.
Yeah, look, it's not the best matchup. But the thing is, like, you're not getting just Jason Garrett. You're getting Chris Richard on the defense, who is basically the defensive coordinator, even though Rod Marinelli is the nominal one. And he's the reason the defense is good. He comes from Seattle, and he's been a real boon to them. So, McVay has, I think, been a little exposed in the back half, maybe since Cooper Kupp went out. Maybe a little bit.
Whatever you got to hang your hat on for this one, man. I know you're not giving me like real DFS opinions for that shit. You are talking as a Cowboys fan.
No, I think it's more of a person as a person as a person who enjoys the Rams and thinks that like they were really exciting. Like I feel like that Kansas City game and then when Kupp went out were like two moments where they kind of just like hit their apex a little too early. And I think versus a Cowboys team who's going to bring their lunch pails, if we could talk like professional TV football guys, and they're going to make it hard on them. They're going to swarm, and I think like athleticism can beat him, like Gurley can beat him, Cook can beat him, but I think they're going to have to earn it. That's how I feel about it.
Badger and Bournemouth fan says, "Do you trust Goff? I trust him more than Dak."
Dak's been pretty clutch over the last month or two.
Yeah, look, again, not that I don't trust Dak, but I just feel like the Rams are just and it bears out in the line. I just feel like the Rams are slightly better than the Cowboys at everything they do.
Let me see. You probably are right. I feel like protection, maybe not. No, yeah, they're better at that. Not turning it over. Goff turns it over more than Dak.
That's fine by me.
Huh? Actually, Dak turns it over the least or second least on the slate. Good for you, Dak.
I feel like he doesn't take a lot of risks.
That's also true, and he'll just run it for 5 yards rather than try to throw into a tight window.
Dak rhymes with sack. I'd say I hope so, but I don't have any concept of how many Rams Ds I have. I don't have any, so I don't know. Saints D is the D before we get there.
Yeah, Dak Prescott gets sacked the most on the slate. I think by a pretty decent margin. Yeah, not an ideal spot for Dak, but I think a little contrarian Dak's interesting at his price on DraftKings, where he's the cheapest quarterback by $200 underneath Foles. It's an interesting play. It's an interesting thought.
Chris Taylor in chat talking about playing 50% Naheem Hines, man. Go ahead and take some like antacid or something now, because that one's gonna be a fucking struggle.
Yeah, that one didn't go well for a lot of sharp people last week, and I was not on that one, thankfully, but I was also not on Marlon Mack enough, so it's my kind of came out in the wash there.
Out of 50% Naheem Hines I can't imagine what my blood pressure would be.
Just watching him get 5 plays.
Oh my god, that would scare the shit out of me. That's just a lot, dude. That's so much leverage over the field. I would imagine. It can't be high, right? Hines, yeah, 5%. You probably don't need 10 multiples of the field on Naheem Hines. Why? That's FanDuel. He might be a little bit higher on. He's 9% on DK. Even 5 times the field feels aggressive there.
Yeah, go maybe double the field if you're really big. Your team Naheem Hines and you have his jersey on your wall.
Yeah, maybe that guy will be laughing to the bank, man. What do we know?
It's true. It's a contrarian play. I do a show with the word contrary in the title that supports contrarian plays. So I won't yuck your yum, sir. LA Chargers, New England. We talked about that. Well, actually, did any other things here you want to hit on? There was any concern for you with Keenan Allen, how he might get defended? Belichick's kind of talked him up in a way where it makes him seem like he might be the guy that the Patriots key in on.
I walked him back a bit. I only have 2 of my 10 with Allen. I was getting him a lot. It's another one of those manual adjustment type things. And it was basically because I wasn't really getting anything else. So even when I was getting a lot of Allen, I wasn't getting a lot of Rivers, and I was just like, okay, well, there are so many other guys for the Chargers that I feel like blowing my wad on Allen in one particular spot is overly aggressive. So if he plays like he's the number 1 receiver on the Chargers, I do have some shares, but I just don't really like the Chargers in this spot going into New England. I'll trust New England until they're not New England.
I could see the Chargers winning this one, but I think if they do, it's going to be in the most unimpressive fashion. Like, I don't see they're not going to run up the score on New England, I don't think.
It's one of those, New England has been so good at getting themselves to the Super Bowl, and the Chargers have been so bad in playing in any game that matters to them that mentally I just can't get there. Outside of Melvin Gordon.
The argument for the Chargers would be that so basically because they're playing in LA in a stadium where nobody supports them, every week in LA, especially like every time they play a team who comes from a city with some sort of notoriety, like they're basically having half the stadium be, probably more, like closer to 70% of the stadium be for that team's fans. So I think that they built up a bit of a callous, and they had a pretty tough road schedule. Like they beat the Steelers, they beat the Ravens last week, had the Chiefs on the road. Like that builds a callous in a way where I think, going into Gillette isn't that scary. But I think the way they win is by keeping it close to the vest and probably running it with Gordon. And I think the defense maybe getting some pressure on Brady where he just looks old and the line can't handle him. I think that's how it happens. I don't think it's by Rivers going nuts and throwing for 4 TDs.
I mean, yeah, the answer right there is Brady essentially dies and stops being anything. 3,000 miles across the country, going west to east, into New England, the best football team over the last 20 years. I'd rather I'll go down with that ship.
It's fair. Then the public money is on the Chargers pretty heavily for whatever reason, so that's something to note.
I think the Chargers are really good. This is just there's a bugaboo about New England.
Yeah, I get it. I get wanting to trust the team that's been there. Which New England guys do you have, if any?
Edelman and Gronk, and then like
White?
2 or 3, maybe one lineup with James White. I should have more. Nah, I don't have any.
Yeah, I should have more of him too. I think he's actually a pretty good play who might have one of those 10 target, 1 touchdown days, but it didn't get there. I like the other running backs better.
I might swap one of my Sony Michel lines into a James White line.
I think that's a good move. Get a Rex Burkhead in there. I do have one Rex Burkhead.
I don't have any Rex Burkhead. He got removed from my player pool pretty immediately.
He could have an asshole 2 touchdown day. I think that would be.
I mean, then we're talking about the whole slate then.
Yes, true. But he gets the usage in a way where I think it's possible.
Fuck him.
That's how you can tell we're at the end of the season. There's no analysis. It's just fuck that guy.
I removed him immediately from my player pool.
I like him. I don't like him. He's an interesting player. Like he and not just him. I feel like he and Danny Wood had a little bit, I guess, but Danny Wood has a better pass catcher. But he just gets used in a way that's interesting because he's on the Patriots and he wouldn't get the same usage on any other team in the NFL.
Who the hell were we just talking about? James White.
Yeah. Well, we were talking about Rex Burkhead overall, but yeah, James White too.
I totally forgot what I was doing.
You get your James White in there. Don't forget that.
I did.
Luis Torres.
Now I'm down to 30% or 20% Sony Michel, one lineup with James White.
That seems fair. Luis Torres saying Chris Hogan breaking the slate. I don't know that I see that, but I do have some Chris Hogan because I think the targets could be there.
I have 0.
Yeah. I mean, you're playing just a max 10 entry, right?
Yes.
Yes. I mean, I have 40 lineups on DK, so that definitely gives you a little more room to get a little bit of Hogan and hope he knows best. Hope he doesn't drop N-bombs.
I played too much Hogan earlier in the season when he was dog
when he couldn't get open. Yeah.
I mean, he's basically had two games all season where he got 7+ targets. So I know it's different now with my boy Josh Gordon gone, but I don't know.
With Smokey McDrugs that's not fair. He's got other stuff going on too. That feature about him, actually, I feel bad even making any joke about him because that feature on his life about it was on not on the Athletic, it was on Players Tribune, maybe it was somewhere.
I didn't see
Google it and find it. It's real tough. Life was not the best.
No, I'm sure it wasn't.
All right, Philadelphia. So you're not a Foles guy. I like Foles. I like Sproles, and not just because they rhyme. I think Sproles is an interesting value play. It seems like he's taking the lion's share of that running back role, and it's a pretty good pass catching matchup for running backs versus the Saints. So
some might say he's taking the Eagles' share of the action, not a lion. Wrong animal.
Some could say that if they wanted to get extra punny, but I already did the full Sproles thing, so I had all the puns I could handle. But yeah, I don't know. I'm intrigued by the offense here. I think it's good, and Ertz, I'm the least intrigued by. So that could be wrong. I'm willing to admit that could be wrong, but Eagles offense jumps out to me, and you have none, right?
I
other than
have
Ertz?
Sproles.
Okay.
Yeah.
How much Sproles?
More than it could have been a whole hell of a lot. He's only $11 on Yahoo. So one above the minimum. Game fits him. Played for the Saints. Understands the stadium, we'll say. If that matters. I have 2 lineups with Sproles.
Yeah, I think it's a nice matchup for him, being back on turf, being back in a place he knows well. Tonight he's 4,400 on DraftKings, which is a little bit higher priced relative to the player pool than he is on Yahoo, but still does a good job. Captain Jenks in the chat, I like your show. Let's like the show up. Yes, please throw us a like here. We're all hanging out on a Saturday talking football. Obviously, everybody's got better things they could do, but we love football too much. So give us a like here to support the show. Helps us out quite a bit. It's like tipping your bartender, just good social manners. And if you're European, in America, we tip our bartenders. So do that.
We shouldn't, but we do.
You know what? We shouldn't, but I believe in supporting, not leading to the downfall of society by being that one guy who doesn't tip.
We should for good cocktails. We should not for a Bud Light. Let me be more specific.
Yeah, they got to open it. That hurts your fingers after a day.
Do they have to? I've opened plenty. It's really not that hard.
Okay. Look, your hands get a little chafed if you're doing it all day.
Use the fucking bottle opener.
Yeah, but even then, you gotta. There's labor. There's enough labor to justify $1.
No, I'm not paying a 50% markup for you to open my Bud Light.
Fine, whatever. Agree to disagree. I believe it's supporting America.
I do tip. I do tip. I do. I just hate it. I feel like Buscemi at the beginning of the Reservoir Dogs.
Check out bartenders on YouTube. They want the world in tips for pouring a beer. Yeah, look, if you want to say bartenders are a little entitled about their roles in the world, sure, I'll give you that. But I'll still tip them.
Yeah, it all depends what you're getting. If you're getting like a fucking cucumber gimlet and they're mushing that shit up in there, well, that's different. If you're at a trash bar drinking trash beer.
I went to a speakeasy a week ago where they were like, oh, like it's an old style speakeasy where you just tell us kind of what you like and then we make something. And I felt kind of held hostage by that. Like it turned out being fine, but I was like, whiskey? And he's like, you want one where like whiskey is a star? Or do you want one where like it's more of a citrusy thing? And I'm like, citrusy?
Do you have a menu, man?
How about a recommendation?
You don't do that shit anywhere else. You don't go to a restaurant like, I don't know, turkey? Well, do you like fruity turkey or savory turkey? And it's just like, just fucking bring the food, man.
Whatever you do is fine. I gave you the gist. Just give me that. I don't know. It was a little weird, but it was well done. It was well done, but that deserves a tip though, because he's literally making a drink based on my preferences, even if it is just a 2-lane choose your own adventure. That probably deserves a little more. Will you guys be live before lock for NBA tonight? No, Eddie Del Toro. I believe your namesake, Fast Eddie Fear, will be the.
Yes, we will. The Awesemo.com will have a live before lock representative today.
Yes, like Model UN, we will have a representative at the live before lock.
Yeah.
Let's see. Any good questions on YouTube? I'm looking. What's Mahomes' ownership? Well, you would know, my friend, if you were paying for an Awesemo.com membership, and you get one for 50% off right now with promo code Live Before Lock. So go check that out. There'll be ownership for the individual slates as well, the Saturday day and the Sunday day. So go check that out.
Get it.
But Mahomes, because like a crack dealer, we want to give you one for free. 22% projected ownership for Pat Mahomes on DK. And for the Saturday, Sunday slate, and on FanDuel, he is at 36%. So there you go.
8 years ago, I fixed my dryer. It came up on my phone.
Wait, how is that a tangent?
I don't know. It just came up on my phone. 8 years ago, I fixed my dryer. It was my Facebook status.
Oh, yeah, like a time hop thing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was really proud of myself.
Yeah, that's fair. Spags and his fruit drinks. It was one citrusy drink, and then I switched to a tequila one where tequila was the star. And the night went well after that.
Was it mezcal, tequila, or other tequila? God, this sounds like a bar I would never want to go to.
Yeah, I think your North Carolina sensibilities of like people being low key and whatever would probably have been lost there. It wasn't super packed or anything, but it definitely was like
that helps.
The guy was like trying to be an actor somewhere for sure, or perhaps selling his butt. Who knows? Anyone or like the real UN, of course. Yes, TVB or like the real UN, but I haven't been in the real UN. I have gone to a model UN event once. It was not for me. Anyone stacking Mahomes, Hill, and Kelsey? I am sure there are quite a good deal of people doing that.
I have it.
Not my favorite one. Not my favorite stack of the day, but whatever.
I mean, Hill is just, you're hoping for 30, basically, because you're probably not going to get 6, or you're probably going to get 6, but you're hoping for 30. There's very little like middle of the road games for Tyreek Hill.
I would say the one thing I could see him doing a lot is a lot of crossing routes that are kind of closer and give him room to run. And I think that worries me a little. Like, obviously, we always think about him being like the 50 yards downfield, open or getting himself open guy after Mahomes scrambles around and dodges 5 dudes like Bo Jackson and Tech Mobile. But like, I think also like he could just run a lot east to west, and he might be able to find room in the zone there.
If this field is as bad as people seem, like maybe someone will just fall down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's the thing too that we talked about that up front where like, defensive players slip too. It's not just offensive players.
Tyreek Hill knows where he's going first.
Yes, that's a great point. And, a zone team too. I mean, you break apart of the zone and then all of a sudden you're getting through, especially if you're as fast as Tyreek Hill. So.
And like, I'm trying to win a GPP. That's why I'm willing to take some Tyreek Hill in this spot.
You guys make me want to get drunk. I believe by talking about alcohol and not our content, but either way.
Well, I hope that's complimentary.
Let's see. If you were to make one bold call about this slate, what would it be? We've been pretty good on these this year. I got to be honest. I think this is one thing where when put on the spot, we've done well. You usually put me on the spot. So today, Josh, I'll put you on. What's one bold call you have?
I don't even know if I have a bold call. Like, I really like all 4 favorites in these games, which doesn't exactly lend you to big calls. I'm trying to look through the list of names. I don't know. Like, this is probably not a bold call, but I think that Gronk looks a little bit like old Gronk.
That's pretty bold, I think. Compared to a lot of the takes in the industry-wide stuff that I listen to and read and watch, I think that's a good one. That's a good one. I'll top you with Nick Foles is the winning quarterback in a tournament this week, like a major one.
Not a 3 entry joint.
Yeah, not the one I do with my friends from high school every week, but potentially that too.
Maybe in a head-to-head tournament.
I think the thing with Foles, and I guess it's also true of Dak, he just opens up just enough where you can get guys in there. And I'm a little more comfortable with Foles than Dak, so Team Foles. Big Dick Nick. I root for all the celebrities and athletes who have Big Dick as their nickname. Big Dick Clark and Big Dick Nick. Those are the 2.
Decker.
Oh yeah, sure. Big Dick Decker. He was a fine fantasy player for a while there, and his wife, a beautiful lady.
Dime piece.
Mm-hmm. Is Jarwin out? I haven't seen any news about it yet. Last I saw, though, is that he was expected to play alongside Cole Beasley.
He's not my player pool.
He is not in mine either. And yeah, not a Jarwin week for me. Raining all day here in LA. It is. It has been raining all day. It's starting to get sunny downtown, so I assume it's also getting sunnier by the stadium too.
Are you guys going to be able to be okay? Do we need to have a special ribbon or wristband or something for you guys since it's raining? I know how shit gets.
It is pretty it does bum me out quite a bit when it rains because this isn't what I paid for. So, I don't want this shit when it's under 52 or under 55 and it's a little cold to walk the dogs where I have to wear multiple layers. I'm like, this is bullshit.
Mother Nature, man. Mother Nature. We are long past the time that we should be doing something we normally do.
Oh, that's right. The 100. I saw it on the clock, but I forgot actually what our results were last week, so I wasn't sure.
I didn't get it. I don't remember who I had.
I think I did.
I think I had
'Cause I had Zeke.
Hopkins.
Yeah, Zeke got it. Yeah.
I
Let's see.
I have Hopkins.
Yep, you had Hilton, and
Yeah,
he
I
did
had
not
Hilton.
get there. He was so close. He was like getting there in the first quarter, and then he just stopped.
Yeah, that
Uh,
noted.
all right, I'll go. Yeah, and Zeke for mine. That is a go. All right, so who's your pick? I'll let you go because you still are the leader in the clubhouse for the year.
Um, hmm. Give me Brandon Cooks.
Oh, I like that pick.
Wait. I don't like it. I'm amending it. I'm amending it. I don't want it anymore. And I don't like anybody. I don't like anybody. You know what? I'm going back to it. No, I'm not. I don't know what to do. Give me T.Y. Hilton again. Running it back. Running it back. Running it back.
I like that. That worked for you in the home run game where sometimes your guy didn't get it and then he did.
Yeah. Fuck, who was it? Yeah.
Actually,
I feel like the baseball season was years ago.
It's coming up again.
It is.
I've been actually trying to follow the transactions and stuff too.
You would think that I should do that.
Okay, hold on. Wait, is PC Viles actually being serious? This whole show is to throw people off the correct picks. They're working in conjunction with other sites to lead you down the wrong path. Doesn't matter though, as this is just simulation. I feel like he's saying the simulation thing maybe is like an inside joke thing, but if you're being serious, you are a dumbass of the highest order, my friend.
It's hard enough to just get ready to do this the right way, let alone to have this entire plan of throwing people off the scent. I literally have all of my exposures on the screen right now.
Yeah, I don't, but I literally can't fake liking people that I don't like. I don't know if you could tell my enthusiasm for real shitty players is as evident as it is for good players.
Yeah.
That's.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it does usually sound like you're trying to be like, you should play this guy.
Look, one dude won $30K off of Zay Jones 2 weeks ago because of me and nobody else. So I'll take that tout to the grave. So my guy, you know who I'm going to go with? If you're going with the same guy, I'm going to go with the same guy. Ezekiel Elliott on the road getting 100 yards.
Now I desperately hope you get that wrong. It's going to be really bad when you don't get that. He busts and the Cowboys go home.
That's good. I could really pack up, like you level up my sadness, like a Red Dead Redemption XP thing.
Yeah, it's either you're either going to be really happy or really sad.
You are correct. It's generally how my life goes. And actually, that's not even true. I'm just always in the middle. Spags out of cap is unique. Spags has to go to brunch the second we're done, so that's why.
What do you plan on eating?
I don't know, but I know mimosas are the main dietary thing that I need to get going. And I'm having a beer to lead into mimosas, so it's going to be a fun day.
Yuck.
You think TY shits the bed? I think so, Warner A. Brothers, but somebody else here doesn't. I don't know which way I'm supposed to point. Yeah, this way, right? If I point to my left,
you're pointing at me, yes.
Okay, yes, sweet. I'm with stupid.
I could put that on the screen directly next to your face right now. There's nothing you could do about it.
Well, that would just be mean.
You did it first, but yeah, you pointed it correctly. Yeah, no, I hope that Hilton does not shit the bed. I hope that no one shits the bed, man. That's gross. That would make such a mess.
Yeah, no. I can tell you I've not shit the bed before, and I pray I never do.
I'm sure I shit the bed as a kid, but I have not. I've sharted the bed probably, but we're going down a path we don't need to go
down. Here's an interesting question. Brian Halloran, is it completely outlandish to throw Tavon Austin? Revenge narrative, and we'll be in the slot today. So revenge narrative, not the reason why. Being in the slot because Cole Beasley gets banged up and isn't ready to play, or just gets ruled out late for some reason. Yes, but not a ton of him. I wouldn't go nuts on Tavon Austin.
Absolutely zero.
Yeah, closer to zero, but I have, I think, one or two lineups offhand.
Yeah, if you're playing 150, knock yourself out. If you're playing 20, do not play Tavon Austin. Those are the takes that usually get 2 touchdowns. So, be ready. Adam and I were like, no reason to play Saturansky. You know what you're going to get out of him. Fucking best game of his entire career yesterday. So
that was a frustrating slate. I was very happy with parts of it, and then shit like that. Like I had Luka Harden, and Simmons in one lineup, but I had the bad value guys and stupid Cornette. Fucking Cornette. Oh, hate Luke Cornette.
I ripped that stupid pointy shit off the front of that unicorn.
He's really he's not a good player. And I realized it when what was that show? The Dunked On podcast, where they were like, Luke Cornette, just terrible. And I was like, he's pretty good in fantasy. And then I actually watched him a little more closely, and I'm like, he's kind of terrible. I get why Fizdale keeps taking him out. No good. Hey Spags, if Foles was the guy this week, who are his main benefactors? For me, I think it's the guys I have the most of are Sproles, Jeffrey, and Aguilar. And I'm not on Team Ertz, so that's my stance on it. I think they're going to defend Ertz well. Goddard or Gerald Everett?
I don't have either.
I have Everett. I do not have. I think I might have one Goddard this week. Actually, no, I think I took it out. So no, I have Everett more, but Goddard's a fine play. I think he is intriguing in spots where you expect Ertz to be well defended, and that's what he was last week. And Goddard still got only 2 catches in the score, but that could be enough depending on your lineup. And that PCV list guy was joking or trolling rather about the collusion. So thank you, PC Viles, PC Viles.
I kind of assumed he was too.
The simulation thing I would have assumed if he knows your bits. And actually, we've talked about that too. I believe in that too.
Yeah. Bit? It's not a bit. It's the truth.
that George Carlin level bit that you were doing.
Catholicism is a bit.
Black Mirror too, really. The simulation. And doing shrooms that time. Those things combined really all have come together for the simulation.
Yeah, that one's that last one's driven me into the ground.
Hunter Henry, a good play at 2,800 on DK. No. You wouldn't go there, right? Not knowing that he can even get more than 10 snaps.
Yeah. No, it's not a good play.
I agree. Jannar Kuslingman. Boy, why did I even try? Jannar Kuslingham. I think that's it. Can I fade Zeke and Gurley on a DK single entry? You can. I mean, there's actually, you got Mack and Williams and Sproles. I think there's ways to get there, but I personally wouldn't.
I have no issue with it whatsoever. There's enough other shit out there that you can easily build a lineup that looks good without either of those two guys. It's scary as shit. Those guys are really good, and the best players on a day generally play the best. So it'll be nerve-wracking, but there's enough out there. There's just so much talent on this slate today. There
is. I mean, really is like a lot of options to go to, and I think a couple of directions. I'm curious to see if the ownership is as level as it is, like as it appears in our projections, because I could see there being somebody who's a little bit heavier than we're projecting, and that kind of throws everything into a loop then. What are your guys' gut feeling about Mac this week? You're not heavy on Mac, right, Josh?
I have one lineup with Mac.
I'm comfortable with Mac. I prefer to pay up for Gurley and Zeke or Zeke. I think if I had to choose, would I go Mac or Williams? I think I'd go Mac over Williams. So it's risky though, because the game script could get away for you. I think there's some real downsides to it. What I would try to do is correlate the lineup as much as you can. We're either loading up on Colts and assuming he's going to get kind of a ton of work to be successful, but I wouldn't load up on like the Chiefs pass game in him, because I think it's possible they can both go off, but I think if that's the case, they might even have Hines in there.
That's more power. I'm like lounged now. That's why I don't have a lot of Mac. I have so much of the Chiefs and the Chiefs passing game that Mac is not exactly like the natural bring back.
So the matchup's good. Like it is a good run matchup for him. I think second just to Zeke's matchup on paper at least. But
I just worry this. If let's say the Chiefs are like the Chiefs have been this year, and it's 14-0 with 3 minutes to go in the first quarter, we are going to get a not steady dose of Marlon Mack.
It's true. Yeah, no, you can't trust him. I mean, he played more last week because like the coach said, that he played more because he was rolling and he was the hot hand. And if he's not the hot hand and they can't run the ball and he drops like a pass in the flat, they'll bring in Hines and he just won't see the field. So
like if you're using Marlon Mack, he might be the most specific player on the slate in how you want to construct the rest of your lineup.
Yes, I would agree with that. Yeah. I would watch game script extra closely this week. And even more so as we get to the later rounds, like to the conference finals where there's only 2 games, you really got to think through the game script, because as obviously somebody who's done a lot of showdowns this year. Game script is the whole thing for that, and how you're going to view how that comes, and then the correlation too that comes from that. So use your brains.
Cool. Cam Reddish 3 for Duke to beat Florida State. They fucking always play terrible against Florida State. North Carolina suffered their worst home loss under Roy Williams. So maybe today is going to be a good day for me. I hope I didn't waste it all on college basketball.
I was watching that game at the gym, the Duke Florida State game. Zion didn't impress me. Like, I've only seen highlights of him. I haven't really watched him in a full game. He's not really doing the stuff you need to be successful in the pros. Like, he's not screening. He's not really crashing the boards. Kind of worries me.
Why the fuck would he?
But
he's on a goddamn all-star team right now, man. You want him to play for real?
I guess I'd like to see my guys like Ayton. I think did that last year, and that's why I didn't mind him as much as a number one pick. Even if you can make a better case for Luka, perhaps. I want to see my bigs crashing. I want to see my guys screening and crashing.
Yeah, no, he wants to see himself doing a 360 windmill like it's a fucking layup during a game.
That's another thing too. He leaked out so many times versus FSU where like the play wasn't even dead defensively. He just like was up at the top of the key and just ran out because he wanted to get a dunk. Wasn't the best showing for him, at least in my first journey into Zionville of a full game.
They're gonna have 3 of the top 5 picks in the draft this year. I can't fault him too much for not doing the dirty work on the basketball court right now.
Just want to see him man up. Drop Tech Rune asking Hilton or Cooks on Yahoo.
That's a good question. I have more Hilton. So Hilton.
I would go Cooks.
Might have to drop a Woods to Cooks lineup here.
Amos Burns, Jesus, Josh is a Duke fan?
Josh is a lapsed Duke fan. I was a very aggressive Duke fan for most of my life, but I don't soak up as much college sports as I used to. I don't have the time.
Yeah, I want to get more into college basketball because like I play so much NBA, and obviously we analyze NBA every day, where I want to be a little more aware of guys who I like the cut of their jib heading into the pros more. But it's hard to do it during the year, especially right now. So much fucking football, and there's been so much basketball where it's hard to throw in another one on there. Yeah, Zion Williamson, but fade of the week, Zion Williamson.
There you go.
Also, these look like slubby, a little thick, a little too thick.
Thanks.
With the weather, you think Inman over Hilton for the savings? No, not necessarily, but I think Inman's okay. On DK, he fits lineups I had a pretty decent amount.
Yeah, I have 1 Inman lineup and 6 T.Y. Hilton lineups, so there's that.
We've got 10 minutes to lock, so get your stuff in. Probably not enough time to go to Osmo.com and get the promo code live before lock in there. But if you do, you get half off of your first month on any package, including once it's Fantasy Cruncher. So go do it now. Promo code live before lock. Go get in there.
Yeah, they have plenty of time.
10 minutes. If you're trying to play the NFL slate, you're like, all right, let me get all the projections and ownership right now.
Yeah. That's how you do it, right? You just blindly take projections and jam them into an optimizer. That's how you win. That's how Alex does it.
Right. Yes. That's how all this is sarcastic, by the way, for the one person who doesn't get that. But yes, that's just how the pros do it. They don't even look at it. Just plug and play and call it a day. Bobby Boom, we can't answer your question even on a weird Saturday show because we might get in trouble, but probably the first one.
Don't acknowledge him.
Sure. I don't want to encourage Bobby Boom. Bobby Boom's a bit of a wild card. Bobby Boom, watch yourself. We noticed you. Mac and Austin, or Hogan and White?
Hogan and White, because never Austin.
And also White's go as well with Hogan as anything, so I would also go Hogan and White.
That's a joke for 4 people.
I think enough people know the video of him. I think so. Oh, damn, out of bio starting today. That might be a fun thing for DFS. Good for you guys.
Whiteside's out.
Yeah. I'm not playing NBA today.
Yeah, no NBA for me today. I live for the days that I don't have to play that.
Eddie working today. Yes, he is. Hank Scorpio 666. You can stop worshiping Satan because he will be back in a few hours talking NBA. Let's see, any good questions left? Got anything? If you even have an either or, drop it in here. I don't know if Brando's watching the show or just dropping into the chat, but Brando asking Cooks or Woods for a DKGPP. Team Brandon Cooks for me.
I'd play the guy that you think is less owned.
We project to be Cooks, and I just like Cooks, like them fast boys. This is another weird tangent to do with 8 minutes left, but nobody's asking anything. Tyler Bate, you watched NXT UK at all?
I haven't watched wrestling in, I couldn't even tell you how long.
Really? I thought you were still in.
I can't. I don't have time. When am I going to do that?
I put it on in the background and like pay half attention, but he has this thing where they call him Big Strong Boy and chant Big Strong Boy at him, and it's like it's very entertaining, but it seems odd. I don't know. There's something that's a little weird.
Eddie Del Toro. No, this is not a Golden State Warriors hat. However, this is now a Golden State Warriors hat.
Josh, a big Duke, Golden State, Alabama, New York Yankees, Cowboys, Lakers fan.
I think I like one of those teams. I mean, clearly I like the Warriors, but I don't I don't get excited when they win. I like to watch them play.
Here's an interesting question. Mac or Ebron for Alex in the YouTube chat?
So I have to answer Mac because I have a Mac lineup and no Ebron lineups, but I think that Ebron probably has a better fantasy day. The problem is just simply that I think he's not priced well in relative to the other tight ends on the Yahoo slate. So it's kind of a weird answer for me.
Yeah, I think that's a tough one. I think I would go Ebron for the ownership discount. It's a pretty substantial one on DK now. And the risk of the game flow getting away from Mac like we talked about, but I think I'm playing a good amount of both guys for whatever that's worth. I think they're two of my higher owned players on the slate. So I'm comfortable with either guy. Just follow your heart.
That's good advice in DFS.
Well, look, at the end of the day, you have to be happy with at least for me, like I trust the data to a certain extent. And then from there, it's like, what am I feeling here? Like, what am I going to be happy with? And that's how I make my tiebreakers.
I just assume I'm going to be unhappy one way or the other. Once you get to that point in DFS, you'll feel a lot better about the lineups you put out.
Fair point. Yeah, I have too much emotional investment, even still after doing this every day now for a year. Still have too much emotional investment in my lineups and the players they're in.
It's not pencils down, Bobby Boom. Lock is in 5 minutes.
Can we get a cheap D take? Yes, we can. I find you want to guess which cheap D I find interesting, Josh?
Probably the worst one.
The Philadelphia Eagles. Yes. I just think they get good pressure, or not good pressure. They get decent enough pressure. I liked what I saw last week versus Trubisky. And look, as we all know, Mitch Trubisky and Drew Brees, two very similar quarterbacks, very similar levels of expertise and success. I don't know. I just think if I'm going to go in with the Eagles, I would bet on the Eagles to cover at least. So, it is what it is.
The real answer to that should probably be the Saints.
Well, that's not the cheap D.
They're $1 more. They're $1 more expensive than the Eagles on Yahoo.
Oh, okay. On DK, they're the most expensive at $3,300, and the Eagles are $2,000.
Really?
Yep.
Oh my God! So it's Patriots at 18, Rams at 17, Chiefs at 15, Chargers at 14, Colts at 12, Saints 11, Eagles and Cowboys both 10. Way to represent the NFC East.
Oh yeah, on Yahoo, I would take the Cowboys then maybe.
I have one of the Cowboys and one of the Eagles, but Saints I have 5 of since they're favorites at home and essentially no money.
Yeah, I would say the cheap D on DraftKings I have the most of would be the Chargers at 2,400. I think they're an interesting play who's going to be low owned. I was all over them last week too, which turned out to be okay. Obviously, Lamar Jackson and Tom Brady, two very different propositions, but I think they can do some stuff. And
Lamar Jackson and Tom Brady might be the most opposite quarterbacks in the history of the sport.
In legitimately every way, like even like down to skin tone, like they're it's like opposite ends of the spectrum on the contrast. But yeah, like no, they're
Tom Brady's fantastic at running for 1 yard if he needs to.
You know what I like last week? Phil Rivers running a little, showing off those gams.
Phil now?
Yeah, Phil, well, we're on a nickname basis. I babysit his 100 children.
Oh my God. You need like a team.
Would you go to Kelsey or take the savings on Ertz on Yahoo?
I have twice as much Kelsey as I have Ertz. So the answer for me is Kelsey, but that is not an aversion to Ertz.
Yeah, I'm team Kelsey this week. So
I only have Kelsey, Ertz, and Gronk, if that helps for anybody playing on Yahoo.
Hey, Willie Hoops, you know what?
Yeah, I don't need he's not going to be on here for an hour and a half, man. So don't be afraid to get comfortable.
Yep. And now you can watch in peace.
Just imagine going somewhere and being like, why aren't you the other guy that shows up 90 minutes from now?
It's true. If you think about it like that, then your bartender really needs to be
tipped.
Oh,
my God.
Brady won't finish the game. Bobby Boom coming in with a hot take. I think he'll finish the game, but I can see him having
Bobby
those
Boom
days
has been talking shit about the Patriots since I woke up this morning, and not in a nice way. Yeah. In a way that's going to get him removed from Slack permanently.
Yeah, Bobby Boone might tone it down. You're at 11 right now. Tone it down to like a 7 if you can.
Don't door is really close.
Yeah, even in the chat right now, it's okay, man. It's okay. Yeah, so I could see Brady having one of those days where he just looks angry and he's yelling at everybody and blaming everybody else, even though he doesn't have the mobility to get around and get out of the pocket or do anything. And I think that's an outcome that's possible in our simulation that's currently going.
We're in a simulation. I hope I'm in the one today that makes me win a GPP.
It's going to be the one where the Eagles win another Super Bowl.
I fucking hope not. But if they burn the city of Philadelphia to the ground, I'll be all right with it.
Trevor Lawrence or Dak? Dak's rounding into form. I don't know that I want to pay Dak what the Cowboys are going to pay Dak, but I'm okay with Dak for now. But Trevor Lawrence, I think, is a decent prospect.
I don't like that his name is Trevor Lawrence because there was like a Trevor Lawrence in a neighboring town when I was in high school, and that's just all I picture. He was like really good at baseball when we were kids. It annoys me.
Yeah, same Trevor Lawrence, ironically enough. Even he's actually a 30-something-year-old man.
Yeah, it would make a lot of sense.
He's doing like a never been kissed thing and going back to college to play quarterback.
I would love to do that, man. I bet going back to high school would be the coolest shit in the world.
Oh, I'd be so much better at basketball.
Going back to senior year of high school, oh God. Imagine like going to a basketball game, just immediately going to chat up the other team's cheerleaders and stuff. Just showing that confidence. Oh my God, one of those girls will bite on that.
Wait, are we talking about as you now?
No, not as 33-year-old me. That's going to be creepy as fuck.
I thought that was where we were going with this. Because I said like never been kissed, which is what's her face? The Drew Barrymore going back to high school.
Yeah, no, not like that. No, like I get to go back as 18-year-old me, but knowing what I know now.
Okay, I agree. I agree with you.
It would be that's the most fun year you could have, right? To go back to senior year of high school, knowing what you know right now.
It was just funny when I thought we were talking about us right now, and you're like, "Yeah, just go hit on all the cheerleaders." It's like, wow, hot take by Josh.
No, I don't mean it in the creepy way. I'm still 18-year-old me in that scenario.
All right, we're locked. Sorry.
That might be the permanent lock for NFL. We're probably not going out on a better note than that one.
Yeah, it might be. We might. I mean, look, I don't know what the timing is. Is there a Saturday game and a Sunday game, or are they both on Sunday?
I think they're both on Sunday.
All right. Well,
I'm going to give you the answer in 5 seconds. Yeah, they're Sunday at 3:05, Sunday at 6:40. So I don't see the need for us to go from 1 to 3 on Sunday. So we'll figure it out. But between you, me, maybe the 4 of us will do a show. Me, you, Laffy, and Ben.
Oh, I like those. Yeah, we haven't done a little roundtable thing. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled. We'll do something. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell to know when we go live. But we'll do some content. It'll definitely be an On the Contrary with me, Osmo, and Evan Silva going through the slate. And then we'll do something hopefully with the whole crew. Do a big thing. Maybe get some alcohol involved. Not that I need a reason to, but yeah. And thank you guys for watching. We appreciate it. Hit the video with a like before you go. And good luck this week. And go all the players I have and none of the guys that Josh does.
I was about to do an with stupid, and I pointed the wrong fucking direction. Good luck, everybody. Bye.
Too busy thinking about those high school girls. They get older, you stay the same age. All right, damn it.